cover for tonight, right?
Yes.
I'm happy to do it if you wish, or whatever you need me to do, just please let me know.
Well, I don't, I don't know if the raised hands, the questions part.
So why don't you tell me to just call on people in order? It'll show it in order. I'll just call them in order.
Okay.
And I'm gonna, so we are live on YouTube right now, and I am going to start the webinar. So
Hi, Natasha.
Attendees.
Hi, John.
Hello, John.
Hi, Joan.
One attendee.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, John.
I hear they got, I know it's not on the agenda, but I hear they are, the DOT is going to be redoing Park Circle. I read in the paper. Do we know anything about it?
So we had a briefing on it. I had some questions for them. They never went to 14, so I got together and I briefed them, and then 14 asked them to meet with their committee. I've spoken to Zach about it. I think we will have it coming up,
Okay,
but I don't want this to go too fast. I want the community to have some input on it.
Please, it's important to me.
Yeah.
I don't ask for much.
We're slowing them down on 7th and 8th Avenues, so I think it's quite likely we will want to slow them down there as well.
Okay.
Real community input.
I-
So, Jomo, I see you have shared the email link with at least 2 other people.
Yes, hey, how you doing, Mr. Laffer? I'm actually,
I can change names.
yeah.
Jomo, I actually the people that you gave me, I add them as panelists, so they should have their own link to join
Okay,
this
perfect.
meeting.
I'm expecting
Michael,
the
Richard, and I don't know how to pronounce the other person's name, but it's VUK is the first name.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, they received their own panelist link for this meeting. Yeah.
So those who are also signed in under Jomo's panelist, if you could unmute yourself and just tell me your name, I'd be happy to change your name.
Hi, I'm Ari Levine from Hoffman Architects.
Okay, please just stay unmuted.
Okay.
And
Yes, I wasn't given his contact.
you're the only one with the photo here. So,
Okay, yeah.
okay, so that one should be easy. I'll rename you Ari.
Yep.
And you said last name again?
Levine, Levine.
Yep. Okay.
Jeremy, make me co-host when you have an opportunity to do so.
Yes. Natasha, you are now co-host.
Thank you.
And Ari, I don't think your colleagues are connected. I don't believe their audio is connected.
Hello, this is Afsar Samani. Can you hear me?
Yes.
What's your name?
Problem. Afsar Samani.
Hey,
Okay,
spell the-
hang on one second. I'm going to ask you to spell that for me.
Oh, Jeremy, I'm
Okay.
taking care of that right now.
Oh, you're taking care of it. Okay.
Yeah, just spell
Tasha,
your
please
first
do.
name.
Okay, AF.
AS.
No, AF as in Frank.
Okay.
S as in Sam. AR.
Okay.
Last name Samani. SAMA.
I'm sorry. SAMANI.
NI.
So the first name is AFAR.
No, AFSAR. F as in Frank.
SAR.
Right, AFSAR. That's right. I just wanted to
Okay.
let you know that we had problem with MS Team and some of my colleagues might be having trouble joining in. So maybe we should give them some extra time.
So I see there are a couple of attendees who are here under phone numbers, so I will check to see if they're signed in under attendees. So of our attendees, there is a 646 number that starts 208. going to allow you to talk. If you can, and please unmute and tell me your name.
Richard Milano.
Okay, I'm going to change your name from your phone number.
And if everyone
Forgive
could just
me if I
stay,
spelled it wrong.
if everyone could just stay muted for the moment, except for the presenters, while we get this in order. Thank you.
And then there is another 646 number that starts 879. If you would please unmute yourself and let me know your name, I'll be happy to change it. 646-879. I'll ask you to unmute this way.
Hi, this is Vuk Dukanat.
I'm sorry, your name again?
Vuk Dukanat, it spells V as Victor.
Okay, hang on one
You,
second. I am
Gabriella?
going to make you a panelist. I know, oh, wait, I can't do that yet. All right, hang on one second. So let me rename you. B-U-K, and then the last name?
Dukanat, it spells D-U-K-A-N-A-C.
Okay, so we've got you renamed. Let's try to make you a panelist now. And, oh, hang on. Okay, for some reason I can't make you a panelist, but we could always unmute you at the proper time. So we'll keep you unmuted right now. I'll just ask that you please be aware of that.
Okay.
And Joan, I guess we could start whenever you're ready. David
Okay.
Estrada, love the hair.
Hi, everybody. Zachary is working tonight, so I am filling in for him, and I want to welcome everybody and thank you for coming. And sorry. Thank you, Jeremy. So when we're ready, Jeremy, then you can call the roll, or is Natasha going to do it?
Natasha's got it tonight.
Okay, Natasha, you're on.
Okay, when I call your name, I'm going to be calling the committee members. When I call your name, please unmute yourself and just say you're present or here. Joan Body.
Here.
Joseph Canali. John DeLuper.
Here.
David Estrada.
Here.
Roberto A. Martinez.
Present. Hey, hello.
Thank you. Marilyn Melman. Gloria Rodriguez Navoa. Cindy Vandenbosch.
Here.
Thank you. Katie Walsh. John Garcia. Zachary JC. Okay, for the board members. I'm sorry, for the board members who are present but not on the committee. I have Pat Ruiz. I have Pat Ruiz. I have Sam Sierra.
Present.
Is there anyone I'm missing as far out of the board members who are not on the committee itself?
I'm John Johnston.
And John Johnston.
Did you call Nick
Natasha.
Azadian?
Yeah, I just got in here a little bit late, sorry.
Okay, and Nick Azadian. Okay.
And I think that's all of them.
Okay. Joan, you could begin.
Okay, again, I want to welcome everybody, and we can start with the presentation. And if there is something that you guys could email Jeremy that he could send to me so I could prepare the minutes correctly. Thank you. You're on, guys.
I believe Jomo, you're taking the lead.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you guys for having us here this afternoon to discuss the renovations of the DOT's asphalt facility at Hamilton Ave. My counterparts at DDC and DOT. I really appreciate you guys hearing us out. This is a civic project that needs to be done. The roof has been experiencing some leaks for some time now, and we're very happy to get this project underway. As far as anything you'd like to say, or anybody from DOT?
Hi, thank you, Jomo. I have my consultant. I think we have the full team. Vuk is the project manager and our consultant Hoffman Architect is online. I believe they have a presentation to show everyone, and then we will take questions.
Perfect, thank you, Asfar.
So who is the person who's going to show the presentation?
Ari, are you on the call?
Yeah,
I'm
Ari's
here.
Ari, I'm going to have to make you a co-host and then you'll be able to share your screen. Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. Vuk, did you just want me to use the presentation that I sent you earlier today?
The PDC presentation is
Just
fine. This is what
one
has
moment.
been
Can all of these present people from DOT show their faces? That would be very nice. If we could see who is with us and is sharing with us.
And I'll just ask if, when you're finished speaking, if you could just mute yourself as well. We're getting some feedback.
Okay, should I start sharing my screen?
Yes, you're a co-host now.
Okay, give me 1 second. Okay, can everyone see that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so as Jomo mentioned, the primary impetus for this project was leaks that were being experienced in the roof, as well as some deterioration to the facade, which we can talk about a little bit. So it's kind of going through orientation of where we are. The site backs up to the Gowanus Canal and is kind of immediately adjacent and under the Gowanus Expressway. So you can see the overpass in that image. And this is looking kind of from the center median under the expressway at the building. It's a low and quite long and linear building consisting of primarily a brick masonry facade as well as corrugated aluminum panels and a large curtain wall along the east facade, which you can see in these images. Around the back is much the same from a materiality standpoint. The west facade actually has garage doors that lead to a garage space, which takes up the main portion. Just some more photos of the facade. You can see in this photo some efflorescence on the brick, which is kind of indicative of what we found in majority of locations. Our thoughts about why this building was deteriorating so quickly, it was actually only constructed in 1998. But we are already seeing heavy signs of mortar deterioration, distress to the brick, some damaged IGUs in the curtain wall. We believe because of its proximity to the expressway above, that it is having some heavy chemical runoff that has exacerbated and kind of accelerated the deterioration that we were seeing. moving up to the roofs, currently there's an inverted roof system with pavers as the overburden. You can see a little bit in this photo, but in certain areas, there's some biological growth, vegetation coming up through the pavers. Here we have, the state of some of the roofs where you do have an exposed membrane. You see the kind of typical signs of alligatoring, cracking, distress at the seams, all indicative of a failing roof structure and further supported by the leaks reported in the building. Site plan, just to kind of give you an idea of the massing of the building. Roof plans for the proposed. So the proposal here is to do a complete roof removal and replacement, as well as repairs, restoration to the facade in terms of any cracked or damaged brick, as well as 100% repointing of the mortar joints. The amount of deterioration that we saw specifically with the mortar joints was such that we felt it could all be replaced. Some elevation views of what's in scope. Here are some details. So the other piece, which actually, so everything on the facade is proposed to be replaced in kind. So, brick for brick, we'll match as best we can what's currently there, as well as the mortar joint color. Actually the most visible new element is going to be a guardrail. So if I flip back to this image on the right, you can see the existing guardrail, which is not up to current building code. And because we are replacing the roof, and therefore we'll have to temporarily remove the guardrail, we can't put something back that isn't code compliant. So we'll need to come back with a new guardrail. The design intent of the guardrail is to maintain as much of the kind of horizontality as possible. Typically, the kind of standard guardrail replacement we have is vertical pickets, but it was discussed to kind of maintain the kind of long and low nature of the building to go with a horizontal rail system, which you can see here. The other piece of this roof replacement is because of the updated 2020 energy code, which we will have to meet. There's a call for increased insulation, so a total of 7 inches to meet the prescribed R value. This combined with the through discussions with DOT, there was an idea of going back to a traditional roofing system, not having these pavers as overburden, so that if there were to ever be leaks again, you could spot visibly where that leak would be and do the necessary repairs without having to rip up the entire roof to get down to the deck. So here is, as tough as it is to see, this is the proposed kind of visual difference that we'll have. So because of the increased insulation, there will be a slight increase to the overall roof height over the center section. On the edges, in the stair towers and over some of the office space, there's a parapet, so any changes to the roof would not be visible. Here, along the center section, all you would see is kind of a thicker edge metal gravel stop, as well as the change to the guardrail. There are some IGUs also kind of called out with this hatch that were called for replacement. They are showing signs of failure, not least of which are impact damage and condensation in between the lights. So those will be replaced in kind as well. here are kind of material proposals. So what we discovered actually early on when we did some probes was, although these bricks are appear to be square 8x8 in nature, they're actually CMU dimensions. They're 16x8 with a faux mortar joint down the middle to make them seem 8x8. So we will replace those in kind. And as well as a mortar color, which we will confirm matching through mockups and the IGUs, as I just spoke about. As far as the doors, there will also be a door replacement as part of this scope, also in kind, hollow metal doors with a porthole window, and the paint color will, through mockups, we also confirm to match the existing. Just the current edge metal on the left, which will have to increase in overall height to accommodate the roof thickness, but that'll be replaced in kind. And the guardrail proposal, this the existing on the left, and on the right, a proposal of a kind of representative horizontal rail. And yeah, that's it for the presentation. There are some miscellaneous repairs too, none of which are visible from the street. Some metal deck repair, plumbing, new drains at the terrace and the roof. But as far as everything that is visible from the street, that's the extent.
So Joan, I see you have your hand up, but you're actually chairing this committee right now, so you have that privilege to speak whenever you wish.
I may have missed something, but are you going to demolish the existing building and replace it with new, or are you?
It's only repairs. So the building is remaining intact. It is the only thing that is getting demoed is the existing roof as you see it here. So the pavers and the existing insulation are being removed down to the structural deck, but the structural deck will remain, and we're just replacing the roof above. And in terms of the facade, the only things that are being removed would be cracked and damaged brick, which will be replaced in kind, and then a repointing of the entire facade, but the building itself is remaining.
Well, if the building was built in 1998, then there is no asbestos in the building, I'm assuming. Am I correct?
That is the assumption. Vuk, I don't know if you can speak to that. We were getting testing done to confirm that.
That's a safe assumption. This is Officer Samani. That's a safe assumption because in 1998, we were not using asbestos. Yeah. But we still have to go through the filing, and we need to have a certification for ACP 7 or ACP 5. And we will do that. We will just go through the motion and file it with the building department.
Okay, I see Nick's hand up also.
Joan, before you call on people, could we just clarify, are you asking for the board's support, or is this strictly for informational purposes tonight?
We're so this is Jomo Black. We're asking for the board's support on this civic matter.
Point of order. The person who just spoke, there's 4 different people named Jomo Blackman and the woman who spoke. Is it possible for those of you who aren't named Jomo Blackman to please click on your, click in participants and rename yourself to your actual names? Because
if you
it's hard to
right-click
follow
on your name, you will get an option that you could rename yourself. We were doing that with some of them before, Cindy, but there seems to have been additional Jomos who signed in.
If it's possible, just to either rename yourself, or every time you speak, if your name is not Jomo, can you please verbally introduce yourself and your position so that
Sure.
It helps all of us.
So this was me speaking. I turned my camera on, but I'm just looking to see where I'm listed on the participant. I know I have the list here and I don't see my name. So I don't know.
You're listed under Jomo.
Oh, I don't know why.
Yes, because my guess, and forgive me, Jomo, if this isn't the case, Jomo shared the link with you.
Oh,
Where
that's
everybody
right.
should
Yes,
have
I
an
did.
individual
I
link. That's why
I
we
shared
ask
the
for
link with.
everybody's email address.
This is
Yeah, I
why.
shared the link with the team. Yes.
Okay,
So
okay.
this is why we
understand.
ask for everybody's email address. So
Okay.
I
So-
am going to, Jomo, if the real Jomo would mute himself, I think I know which one you are.
Okay, so
Myself right now, sir.
okay, so you can actually change everybody's name as we turn our camera on, right? So-
Yes, but you will all look like Jomo Blackman if you are all unmuted. So if only the unmuted person is
right.
on camera, then I can rename you.
Okay, so let's
I
start
see-
with me, right?
So I believe I have the correct one. So hang on, please give me your name. Let's see if this works.
So this is Afsar Samani.
I thought we changed your name earlier.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess you took
We
my name
did,
down.
but it didn't stick.
Yeah.
It didn't. Okay,
Can you
would you
see my
please spell it again?
name?
I'll
I
take
just
care of
changed
it.
it. Hi. Can you
Okay.
see
So
Vuk Dukanat?
I think a book, we're gonna go one by one. So let's start with me. And I think I was on my phone. I switched to my desktop. So let's go again.
That's
Sorry,
fine.
you can just click on these
So
three
please just
dots
give me your
on your
name.
screen.
And we don't have to have this lengthy conversation. Please just
Sure.
give me your name.
So AF as Frank, S as
Yep.
in Sam, AR, and last name is Samani, SAMANI.
Please tell me if this is correct. Look at your participant, or your panelist screen.
Let's see.
It's alphabetical by first name.
Oh, that's me. Yes. That's
Okay, good.
Okay, so I'm gonna turn off my camera and mute myself.
Yes, okay. How many, do we only have one more Jomo? I believe so. Okay, I think we're good now. Okay,
you
so
have- do
Joan,
you
I
have-
believe
I'm
you had
sorry.
called Nick.
Do you have Vuk's name? I think Vuk, you want to take a note of?
Yes, they have. I made my name there.
Yep, he's there.
Updated.
So, okay, if everybody can mute again. And Joan, I believe you had called Nick next.
Yes, I did. Nick, you're on.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions. So, and some of these may be directed to the architect, and some of those may be directed to DDC. But specifically, if we're noticing that there's a heavy degree of degradation in terms of the brick, which is likely due to the large amount of chemical pollutants, why are we not trying to protect the brick when we're restoring everything and repointing it? Repointing only handles the structural. It doesn't do anything about preventing future chemical degradation.
So yeah, I can speak a bit to that. There is a scope item to coat the brick masonry after the repairs are done with a kind of a water resistant coating.
Folks, please mute yourself if you're not speaking.
Which should be noted will be kind of an ongoing maintenance item, but should minimize the impact of the runoff.
I gotcha. And then secondly, if you're adding new storm drainage, are you refiling with the DEP? The reason why I ask this question is because notoriously in that area, I believe the DEP is supposed to have replaced the storm piping for the last 25 or 26 years. And so it would be rather unfair to the community to basically be adding additional load to that drainage, whereas the city should reasonably have to install either a detention tank if you're going to be adding substantially to the outlet.
Yeah, maybe DDC can speak to that. The only thing that's in our scope is kind of removing and replacing in kind.
Correct, but
the drainage.
You were basically just scuppering the drains. You're now adding plumbing drains, which are going to be going to the main sanitary outlet eventually when you connect everything up. Unless you're planning on essentially doing a gutter system, which would just dump it right back to the pavement as it was, that would trigger a DEP application.
Well, there are current plumbing lines, I believe.
I know that. I
yeah.
understand that, but what I'm
Yeah.
saying is that you're showing new roof drains. You're repitching the roof essentially to these drains. Those drains by code need to eventually connect into the main sanitary outlet via secondary storm piping. So when you do that and you connect additional load to the main sanitary outlet, that will trigger a DEP application because you are changing the amount of sanitary load exiting the building.
I believe the answer is very simple. We are replacing the roof drains. We are not adding new roof drains. So the load will not change. We are not introducing new load.
It really looked like you guys were adding new drains because if based on the pictures you had shown, there are no drains being shown unless they're currently underneath the current pavers that you have there.
So on the main roof, there are drains. They're hidden in a kind of sunken trough.
Okay.
Towards the back of the roof.
My last question really has to do with local law 92 and 94 compliance. So how are you guys addressing that? Is there an exception that you're trying to use, or are you guys going to comply with 92 or 94?
Local
law 92 and 94 is either providing solar coverage on replaced roofs or basically providing green roofs.
Sure. Yeah. So maybe DDC can speak to this, but just in my personal experience and other projects that I've worked on, because we do roof replacements all the time, because we're not replacing the structural deck here, we're not subject to those local laws.
Okay. That's all I had. Thank you.
Next, John DeLupa, you're up.
All right, great. Thank you. So looking over these plans, I want to ask two questions. First, you're doing this construction, as you've mentioned, your building is right next to the Gowanus Expressway. And you're working on the roof. Are you going to need to be doing any lane closures or anything like that to get onto the roof, or is it all going to be from inside your parking lot?
DOT, do you have anything on that? I believe everything should be able to be accessed from inside the property lines.
Okay. And then the next question would be, while you're doing all this work on there, that's a horrible area for pedestrians. The curb cut, I think, is one of the older ones. I know a lot of times when the city redoes facilities, they bring the curb cuts up to compliance and they repaint crosswalks, they do things like that. Is any of that work going to be done as part of this project as well?
That is not in the current scope.
John, I believe that's actually part of the Gowanus connector of the Greenway.
Okay.
So that's a different project for that same area you're discussing.
Okay.
And Joan, before you call the next person, I can't raise my hand as the host, but I have some questions as well. But obviously,
okay. You're after David Estrada. David, you're up. Unmute yourself, David.
Only a year of Zoom, and I'm finally learning. So just in the management of the project, and because that surface that's being replaced is immediately abutting the sidewalk, that is a pretty important passage zone for bicycles that use that wide sidewalk rather than the roadway surface. This is all assuming it's before the Brooklyn Greenway rolls through. So will you be taking sidewalk width for the project, and will the sidewalk, walking out of Red Hook towards Sunset Park on your side of Hamilton, will that be blocked or narrowed during the course of the project?
Yeah, we'll need to see kind of what the inevitable contractor protection plan is, but yes, my assumption would be that there will at minimum be a sidewalk shed for public protection, which would narrow, if not eliminate, bike traffic.
Right. So I mean, I hope you just work on some mitigation plan between DOT and DDC colleagues, because it's a choke point and it's a danger zone for both pedestrians and cyclists, and the greenway is not present yet. So I'm assuming there's no project conflict in terms of the timeline of the greenway and the timeline of this project, but that's one consideration. And the other question I had for you, just as a practical day-to-day matter in the use of that building, there are those doors you mentioned, those porthole doors, right? But they don't look like they're ever actually used. They look more like just trash collection vestibules with loosely chained, broken steel gates and trash and such. So really, in practical terms, are those street side doors in regular use? And if they're not, could the treatment of their enclosure be such that it's more flush to the street instead of creating this little sort of public urinal trash spot? You know the one I'm talking about? It's more like mid-building.
Yep. Yeah. So the one that I showed in the presentation, and DOT, if you want to speak to this, you know a lot better than I, but the one that I showed in the presentation, I believe, is the only one that's regularly used. That's off to the north of the building where the little terrace is. I know the one you're talking about, there's kind of a gate flush with the sidewalk, but people just throw things behind
so it's
it.
like, that's something where, a tiny, not even a change of scope, but just a tiny change in the placement of where the gate control is on that side, bringing it flush to the street, would just make it that more, discouraging for people to use it as a dumping place.
Yeah, I think the gate is very near to being flush, but I think the slats are so wide that it's not really a deterrent for people throwing things in there. So that, for DDC, that might be a question of if that should become a scope item, if we want to kind of make a more restrictive gate, either to visually kind of cut it off or anything like that.
It just sort of, it harkens to the look of a building that was designed with one intent, and the practical use of it has shifted onto the inside property, which makes a lot of sense because it's not a very welcoming spot, to come and go on that side with traffic whizzing by. So anyway, just a nice to have note on sort of the practical street life and experience of pedestrians and cyclists on that spot. Thank you.
And just to add to that, I agree with everything David just said regarding that door, because I've seen it myself and I've been there. So I guess AFSAR, maybe we should talk about it, sometime this week, about adding something to the scope if we can.
Hey, Richard. Yes, I understand. I guess we are at the construction document. We are ready to go out to bid. I mean, once we go through bid compliance, but that would be a little bit of setback because then we need to, find additional funding. But on that note, at least it's worth the investigation. So we can ask for an estimate and then we can discuss if there is any, contingency.
And maybe it's something the agency could do ourselves also.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Joan, I believe it's me. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. So, and please correct me if I don't have this right, but this is a DOT facility, and the beneficiaries of this project would be DOT and its employees. Am I correct?
Yes.
And DOT
correct,
is
sir.
the agency that has been denying us a pedestrian and traffic safety study on 3rd Avenue. I know you probably don't know the answer to that, but the answer to that is yes. So I'm wondering what this board's incentive is to support DOT if DOT is not supporting the community. I know, more rhetorical than anything.
I'm not going to take that one.
I hope my board members were listening on that one.
Unfortunately, Mr. Lawfer, this is Joe from DDC. I cannot answer that.
Yes, we were
Totally
listening.
understand, but I just want to point out we perhaps we have some leverage here.
Hi, Jeremy. This is Sammy. We're definitely listening to what you're saying.
Thank you.
And agree wholeheartedly with you. At some point, we're going to need answers at some point. And anytime this topic is mentioned, No one wants to touch it, shall we say. So, but we hear what you're saying, Jeremy, and
Thank
agree
you.
wholeheartedly.
Joan, I don't see any other
as
hands up.
acting chairperson, I will have to agree because there's too many outstanding requests that have been denied. Too many.
Joan, I don't see any other hands up. We can certainly ask attendees if they have any questions. Attendees could raise their hands as well.
Do you have to take attendance again, by any chance?
I know we have a
quite
few people who joined us. I'll just, Natasha, are you listening? I could just call out their names. You there, Natasha? I think
I'm
we
sorry,
lost
say
her.
that again, Jeremy. I
Oh,
was
okay.
on mute.
So we had a few other people join us. I'm just going to call out their names to you, okay?
Okay.
Cynthia Felix,
Here.
Gladys Bruno,
Here.
Marilyn Melman,
I
Sam
have Marilyn.
Sierra,
I got Sam Sierra.
and did you get Pat Ruiz earlier?
Yes.
Okay, I believe that's all the board members then.
Okay.
Joan, we do have an attendee with a hand up.
Okay.
Sarah, you can unmute yourself. Oh, you know what? I'm going to promote you to panelist, Sarah. And you can unmute yourself now.
Okay. I just have a question. What's the time frame slated from estimated time which the project starts, and how long do you estimate it will take if the project comes to fruition?
Yes, this is Vuk Dukanis from DDC. Our schedule is anticipating that construction will start end of next February, and it will last for a year. And it will take another half year for project closeout.
Thank you.
Last
Again,
call
I'm
for
going-
questions. I see another hand up, Joan. David Estrada.
Yeah, just, I'm sorry, now that I'm hearing that time frame, not just the delay until project start, but the length of the project, how does this relate to any potential work on the Brooklyn Greenway bicycle path that uses that same sidewalk zone and traffic lane? I mean, are you coordinating with them? Is that known? We're long delayed on getting the Brooklyn Greenway for the bicycle path in this section. So are these now going to overlap sometime on the calendar?
I'm not
aware of this project.
I'm not aware of that project as well. Someone from DOT would have to comment on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have to take this back and understand what the timeline of the Greenway project is there. So I don't
we have the
any-
district manager here who can answer this question.
Go for it.
So the answer is that this project is currently has started. What you see happening on 3rd Avenue now is the beginnings of that. So I believe it's a 2-year construction time frame beginning to end. So the sewer work that you see on 3rd Avenue now is the beginning of this project, which includes the Greenway.
Ari, again, I'm going to ask you if you would please forward the presentation to Jeremy. Thank you. And if anybody else has any, Nick?
I have one last statement. I mean, basically, we're listening to a presentation from DOT, whereas our district manager knows more about the DOT projects than the people presenting from DOT. On top of that, we still haven't had our study, or, we're being completely ignored. So at this point, I can't even imagine how we'd even be supportive of this project. And I'm sorry to say it, but just because of past DOT actions, until those are satisfied, I would not be supportive of anything moving forward.
If I may speak, this is Officer Samani, and DDC is doing this project on behalf of DOT. And in defense of DOT, I should say that we are dealing with DOT facilities as opposed to the DOT roadways. So that's why the people presented at this meeting do not represent DOT roadways projects. And for that reason, we can get you the information, and I'm sure our DOT colleagues will do that. But we are not, we don't have those information from DOT roadways.
We understand that. However, in our eyes, it's the DOT either way. And while I am very much so understanding, DDC's position in this, you have to understand that we live in the community. We've been requesting this for quite some time. Our requests have been routinely ignored. People continue to die along 3rd Avenue because no one wants to present a traffic study. There's continuous issues in terms of traffic along 3rd Avenue. And this is an ongoing issue, which is very important to the community, which is just routinely ignored. So quite frankly, from our standpoint, why should we consider this when the DOT routinely pretends that we do not exist?
Richard, help out. Jump in.
Yeah, so listen, I hear you and understand you, and to add to what Afsar said, and DOT is one agency, and I agree with you, but there are many parts to us, and my side is structures, and our focus is on structures, but of course we're all one family in DOT, and we are concerned about our communities. Unfortunately, I can't answer for those projects. I know little about them. I know of them, but I know little about them, and I apologize on behalf of DOT. I don't understand what the issues are, but look, this is an expensive asset. The facility there also provides a public service. I'm sure we're not happy about all the cars on the road, and it would be great for all of us to see more bikes and walking and different modes of travel, more public transportation. But right now it is what it is, and we have a lot of streets, and that asphalt plant is very important to helping and repair those streets. I can tell you now the roof does leak really bad. The building is falling apart, and it's going to cost us a lot of money later on to fix this building. I've been around long enough to see what water damage does after a while, if not taken care of. And so, look, I apologize, but I really ask you guys to please consider this for the occupants in the building, the workers, and for the service, the public service that we provide. So. That's all I can say, and I hope you don't hold this against us here in facilities. Thank you.
I'm going to acknowledge Pat, and then after, I would like all of the board members to stay and for a little meeting after. Pat, you're on.
While I understand that you are in a different division of DOT, you still somehow have to communicate. And what I have not heard yet is someone saying, well, we're going to follow up, we're going to find out, and we'll get back to you. So that to me at least speaks volumes if I could hear that. It's, all I'm hearing is, you don't know, and we need some.
I did offer to go back and find out what's going on. So that I can assure you.
All right. So I think that we would like to hear back and get a response, and maybe by that time we'll be able to support you. But we have been screwed. I'll just say it. So thank you.
Sorry, and I promise I will take it back and try to get some answers.
Joan, since I started rabble rousing, may I just say something?
Well,
Richard, I appreciate you apologizing on behalf of DOT. It's really not, I do appreciate you doing that. That's not really something you should be doing. No. And I do want to say to my board members, I have nothing against DOT's workers. I have nothing against
Marilyn.
DOT's workers. I really don't want to delay a project for these folks. They do provide a valuable service, but yes, we do have leverage. And maybe the thought of conditional approval, that if they commit to certain things like our study, that they do significant community outreach and get input from the community. Perhaps we could have conditional support rather than just saying no.
Look, I understand you. And again, it's not my area of focus in DOT, and I would have to go back to those who the decision makers, and let them know what the board feels, and then see where it goes from there. So I'm sorry. That's all I have. But anyway, thank you for taking the time.
Okay, DOT, thank you very much, and looking forward to getting the presentation. And again, I thank you for coming, and I thank you for the presentation. And board members, like I said, stick around for a little 5-minute meeting. Thank you, guys.
Hi, Mr. Lawford. This is Joma Blackman. I want to thank you again on behalf of DDC and our counterparts at DOT for allowing us to come here today to speak to you guys. I would hope that your feelings toward DOT would not hinder the start of this project. I'd like people to think of the big picture, but I understand that you have some misgivings, and
let's chat tomorrow.
Like things done.
I'll be at the office. Please give me a call. We'll chat.
All right.
I'll do
Thank
so.
you.
Thank you guys so much.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, all. Nice
Bye-bye.
meeting you all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye. Richard Milano is still here?
Joan, this is still a public meeting there. Anybody could stay in it. They're welcome to leave, but still a public meeting.
Okay. Well, my 2 cents is, yes, we have a lot of gripes with DOT. I just emailed Jeremy something today, and but my opinion, if this is falling apart and it has to be refurbished, rehabilitated, a lot of work has to be done, it's going to happen anyway, whether we give them our support or not. But let's be good neighbors, let's support it. And maybe if we act like we like them, maybe they'll like us a little bit more. So my 2 cents is, let's prepare a letter of support that we can present at the board meeting. And I'd like everybody else to say either yes or no. I say yes.
But Joan, you're making a motion?
I'm making a motion.
You would need a second before you have a vote.
Second.
And Pat has her hand up.
Pat?
Yeah, I'm here. I mean, I don't have a problem supporting. I guess my question is, do we still want to make the point that, you know, there are certain things that we have been requesting and have been waiting for?
Okay, we have one yes,
Hey,
one no.
No, Joan, this isn't the vote. This isn't the vote yet. These
Hi
are
guys, this is
questions
Zach.
on
Can you
it.
hear me?
Well,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Hi
you
guys.
brought-
Sorry, I heard the
you
last stuff.
started this. Now I'm going to give it back to Jeremy. Jeremy started it. Let Jeremy end it.
Well, Zach's here, so I'm going to
No,
let
Joan-
Zach speak.
No, but Joan can, but I mean, there's a motion on the table.
Right.
And to what Pat was saying, I think I would add a friendly amendment to this motion that we, again, request the DOT follow up on a variety of things that this community has asked for. We understand the necessity for the repairs in this building, and this is not something we want to cut off our nose to spite our face. This building is going to collapse under its own weight we don't do something. But we feel in this community that DOT has fallen short on many promises that they've made us. So I think if that could be accepted in some abbreviated measure as a friendly amendment, maybe that could satisfy people.
Joan, it's your motion. Do you accept the friendly amendment?
I do.
Okay, I believe there's one more board member who had a hand up before the vote, which would be David Estrada.
Well, just as long as we're being friendly, another friendly, if this is conditional, I think we can also have a very specific ask about a pedestrian and cyclist safety plan for the site at the work site. I mean, it seems like the other pattern we have from DOT is to have safety design and safety considerations come after projects are done, like the school at 60th Street, and NYPD and others. Not, I guess I'm sort of puzzled continuously by these presentations rolling through the board, and one of the most basic things that we ever ask for is a safety plan or some mitigation measures, or at least a description of how you'll mitigate danger, and it's like we're pulling teeth to get it. So I just say, as a friendly amendment, in a very few words, that we also want to see the safety site plan for pedestrians and cyclists at Hamilton Ave.
David, let me just say, you had mentioned that this was conditional support. I don't believe Joan was saying it was conditional, and I don't think Zach's amendment made it conditional. I think Joan was saying supportive, and Zach was saying, even though we're supporting it, we still want to note these other issues. Am I correct on that, Zach and Joan?
You're correct, Jeremy. Yes, that's fine. I think with David's additions, if you would, that's part of the gist of my friendly amendment. That these are the things we're asking for, and we have other schools that are opening up that are coming online.
So I think what we can do is, it doesn't necessarily need to be in the motion itself, but it could be in the body of the letter, that we have all of these, that while we are supporting what DOT is asking of us, we have asked all of these other things of DOT without their support.
That's fine. That's in the spirit of it.
Does that sound like you are?
Like, yeah, I don't want to make it more. I don't want to make it more complicated than it has to be, and I don't want our brothers and sisters in DOT having rain fall on their heads while they're at work. So
exactly. Yeah. But I do believe we should, we can use some strong wording and say these are the things we've asked for repeatedly. Here. I mean, this is.
So Joan, does the idea of a strongly worded letter that supports the project, but lists a number of the asks that we have had of DOT that they have denied us, is that an amendment that you would support?
Yes.
Okay, so then that would be the motion, unless there are other questions or amendments. I don't see any hands. Would you like Natasha to call roll?
Oh.
I'm sorry, Joan?
No, are we done? I think
Natasha would call roll for the vote.
Point of clarification, is it, who is voting? People on the committee?
So until we are told otherwise by the parliamentarian, and I know this was being debated at the bylaws committee, it is the committee members.
Thank you.
Am I calling roll to see which committee members are still here?
And I'll keep tally.
Okay.
One second.
All right. Okay, take your time. All right, so I'm going to be calling the members of the Transportation Committee to see who is still here from the Transportation Committee before they vote.
Oh, no, this is for the vote.
This is for the vote.
Right.
Yeah, this is for the vote. Oh, this is for the actual vote
yes
itself.
Supports the amended motion.
Okay.
No is against it, and an abstention counts as no vote.
Okay. Cesar Zuniga, please unmute yourself and how you're voting. Cesar? Okay. I'll go down to, I'll
You
come
get
back.
back to anybody who's here who,
Yep, Zach,
I vote yes.
John Garcia, Joan Body,
Yes.
Joseph Canali, John DeLuper,
Yes.
David Estrada,
Yes.
Roberto A. Martinez,
Affirmative, yes.
Marilyn Melman. Marilyn?
Unmute yourself,
Unmute.
Marilyn.
Please unmute yourself.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Gloria Rodriguez Novoa. Cindy Vanden Bosch.
Yes.
Katie Walsh. Okay, I'll go back to Cesar. Cesar Zuniga.
please
Cesar?
unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself, please.
I guess he's
Cesar.
away from his computer.
Okay.
Or his phone. Okay.
Did we get everybody else?
We got everybody else.
7 yeses, no nos, no abstentions.
Motion carries.
Jeremy, I had a question. Is that the only asphalt plant in Brooklyn that services all of Brooklyn?
Yeah, it's definitely in all of Brooklyn. It might even be, I can't think of another asphalt plant. It might be the only one citywide.
Well,
Oh,
here's a question. Don't they also ship in asphalt from the Army terminal? I don't know if that's coming from another plant. Yeah, there's asphalt trucks that leave there usually at night.
I think, I don't believe there's any asphalt being produced there. I think that's just truck storage.
Oh, okay.
So there's one asphalt plant services the entire city?
Well, I'm certain it's the only one in Brooklyn. I think it might be the only one for the city.
Wow.
If it isn't, there are very few of them.
Okay, thank you.
That would be an
Joan,
interesting thing to find out.
I'm sorry,
Joan-
Zach, nothing
no,
else on the
I just
agenda.
wanted to- No, but, and Joan, thank you very much for sharing the meeting. Sorry I was late.
Welcome, Zach.
Thank you. See you guys on Wednesday. Joan, your meeting to dismiss.
Stay safe, everyone.
You too.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good
Good night, everyone.